Hey everyone, I'm Brianna Bradley. I am 19 years old and I just want to make this blog, this YouTube channel, just to be an advocate to people who suffer with mental illnesses, to make mental awareness, and just to tell my story so you know you're not alone. When I planned to make this video, I was going to have my hair done and makeup done and look all cute because I wanted this started out really good. But then I realized I want this channel to be real, like the real me. I don't want to have to act like I'm something I'm not. I don't want to have to put on makeup to get followers or whatever it may be. This is just me being me, and I hope to help you. So I struggle with OCD, anxiety, ADHD, and depression. I'm a whole package deal. It's been rough, and I've had all of them since I was a young girl, and it just, as you get older, it just changes, and it kind of, your mental health and like your mental illnesses conform to different stages of your life, which I realize, and once you close one door, then they quickly go to another side. So that is something that is good to note, is that if your mental illnesses, like I struggle with intrusive thoughts with my OCD, so when I get past one intrusive thought, which one of them was like sickness and illness and stuff, then it quickly will find a loophole to another intrusive thought that it can bring in my mind to cause anxiety and depression and everything else. But so summer going into my senior year, I was put on a medicine called Vyvanse. As if any of you have watched my videos before, when I used to make videos when I was actually struggling, which I still struggle, but when I was on the medicine, it quickly rocked my world. Depression, full swing, suicidal thoughts, full swing. It was probably the worst month and a half of my life. It felt like I was literally going through hell. I remember one night, I would just cry and I would just like beg for help. Like my parents, I didn't really tell them what was going on until it got really bad. But I remember one night I was just in my room and just like literally screaming. And one thing I've realized is having a relationship with God has gotten me through all of my tough times with my mental illness. Just having that person that you can rely on. And so a good support system is great too. People you can trust to talk to helps. But God is the main thing that got me through my tough times, and it still gets me through my tough times. But I just remember one night when really I was done. I was clocked out of life. I did not see the light at the end of the tunnel. It was gonna be done that night. I was done. I couldn't do it anymore. I remember sitting in my room, literally screaming, crying, and I called my mom. They were all outside, and I called my mom, and my dad, and I was like, you're gonna have to get in here or I can't do it anymore. Which obviously no parent wants to hear that. And I was on the floor just screaming and crying and just begging them to help me, because when you're on medicine, it alters your brain and it does everything else. And when you have OCD and all these other things, side effects are real. So I do not medicate anymore. I just, with ADHD. I'm actually on a antidepressant, which has helped me tremendously. But ADHD and those kind of anxiety medicines, they just don't work for me, which you have to find what works for you. But I was just sitting on the floor just screaming and crying, and we ended up taking me to, we were driving to my pastor's house for them to pray over me and stuff. And I just remember there was one song that got me through all of it, and I can barely listen to the song now because I don't know, it's just like a trigger point, I guess, but it's called I'll Raise a Hallelujah. It's an amazing song, but it just brings back all those feelings that I had that night. And we were driving to my pastor's house, and my mom was sitting in the back with me, and I was so out of it. It's like I blacked out. Like I hardly remember some things, but I do remember just sitting there, she was having me sing that song over and over and over, and she was praying over me. My dad was driving, he was praying, and I literally just felt this heaviness just lift off me, which sounds crazy if you're not a believer, but if you are a believer, you understand what I'm talking about. It was just like, I can breathe. Got off the medicine and still struggled, obviously, but you just have to find little ways to get through it. And truly, if you do not believe in God, I'm telling you from experience, he is the only thing that saved me that night, and the only thing that has continues to save me. So there's that. But yeah, I got off the medicine, struggled consistently. Quarantine, when March happened, we were on a cruise. When the whole first thing happened in March, we were on a cruise, came back, and then no one could go anywhere for a while. That was rough. If you struggle with depression, you know that was absolutely terrible. I got super suicidal again. Used alcohol as a coping mechanism, which substances, they will make your pain go away for a little bit, but it'll come right back, don't worry. That's a scary slope to be on. Which I am very regretful of that because it didn't help. But this is me being real. So got really depressed, and I prayed one night. I got super suicidal again. I said, God, you're gonna have to give me something. I need someone to save me. I need to be shown that I can get through this. And God gave me my lovely boyfriend 2 days, literally 2 days. He sent him to me, and we are still together at this point. And he helped me through the hardest times of my life, and he really did. God sent him to save me. He was my guardian angel, still is. God bless his soul, because he puts up with me. So sorry, Jimmy. But and then it was pretty smooth sailing. You know, OCD is still terrible during this time. Struggle with intrusive thoughts still. But I am now on a antidepressant, which I always was one of those people like, oh, I don't want people to think differently than me if I'm on an antidepressant. You cannot think like that when you struggle with mental illnesses. You have to think for yourself and be selfish. And know if that's going to help me, that's what I have to do. I am on Lexapro, a very low dose because my brain's weird and my stomach is weird, so I have to be careful. But I'm on Lexapro, and it has completely and utterly changed my life. But that is just my intro. Sorry, I did not expect it to be this long, but I'm just hoping to just share more of my story and go into depth of each mental illness I suffer from and how it's affected my life, but how I found ways to cope with it and how I've just learned to live with it. One thing that I will say is you cannot give the power, you can't give the power to your mental illnesses. They are not you. They are not your personality trait. They might be something you struggle with, but they are something you struggle with. They are not your personality, and they are not you. And you get to tell them, no, you don't control me. It's like, I had a counselor tell me one time that it is like a robber coming into your mind. You don't let a robber into your house freely. You stop them. So you have to stop those thoughts, whether it's anxiety, depression, whatever it may be, OCD, you have to stop those thoughts and know you control your mind. And your mental illnesses do not define you, not find you. They do not define you. But I hope this YouTube video and my YouTube channel grows, and I hope it just helps you, because I know I found a podcast when I was really struggling, and just hearing her talk about her story and knowing that other people go through the same thing, it's so helpful. And just learning tips and how I've managed life with it all and how I still manage life with it all. And always remember you are worthy and you are enough, no matter what your mind tells you or no matter how you feel. And your mental illness is not a personality trait. It does not define you. See y'all next video.